just fun to watch. A lot of guys got involved tonight. 9 different dudes with threes. Everybody scored. Just talk about when you're sharing the ball and having fun.
I think that doesn't happen unless we play defense. I think everything is predicated on defense and rebounding. If we defended well and we rebounded well, we usually win the game. And that's led to the easy offense, the early offense, the threes. Obviously, we're in the half court. Everyone wants to double team Joe. That leads to threes also. But I think tonight was everything was predicated off our defense.
Pat, speaking of the threes, you've been in a good groove the last few weeks.
Don't
or
jinx
so
me
now.
Just keep telling me how bad I've been shooting it. Don't jinx me.
Well, I guess, is there anything to that extra work, or just like the ebbs and flows of a season?
Not just extra work. Obviously, you come to a new team you want to play well. I think I was one-sided, just straight defensively. Obviously you guys heard about the conversation me and Nurse had. He wanted me to take more shots, 8 to 10 attempts a game. So when the coach is giving you confidence like that, you can't help but to go out there and kind of throw them in, and I think that's the result of that.
You guys took 45 threes tonight as a team, and Tyrese talked about how he's trying to make sure you guys are taking enough. How tough is it to be mindful, just in the flow of the game, of are you taking enough threes or not? I mean,
I think all that's just predicated on our defense. As long as we defend it, Nurse really lets us do our thing offensively. If we get stops, he really doesn't care what we do offensively. So that's always a plus. So to answer that question, I just think it's predicated on our defense. Everything is predicated on defense.
Pat, you guys had that 8-1 start to the season, and kind of had that stretch where it was 2 losses, 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 wins. How important is it now 3 wins in a row just to get back to like you guys were at the start of the season, just ripping off wins?
We lost Kelly Oubre early in the season. New guys coming in, getting new to the team. We played some good teams, played some tough teams, played some fast teams, played some really, really fast teams lately. We're just getting better. We're just taking it a game at a time. We're not looking to the future, or we're not looking in our past or what happened, games before. We're just taking it one game at a time, and we've been practicing almost every day. I think this is all all product of our hard work.
You obviously in the James trade, a lot of the guys that came over, you already had a relationship with. Just what was that kind of like, just for you? I know it's your first year here, but getting them up to speed and just kind of acclimating them to the rest of the group.
I mean, I'm very familiar with Nurse system. I mean, I enjoy playing, and obviously it's a ton of freedom both ways. You get new guys coming in, especially middle during the season. Everybody wants to play well real fast. Everybody wants to, play a ton of minutes a lot. Different roles coming from different teams. So just getting guys settled in their roles. I think we're all pretty kind of settled in our roles now. The first unit has a huge punch. The second unit has a huge punch. We showed it tonight. Our third string has a huge punch. So we come out there and we play that way. We defend that way. It's, we're a tough out.
You mentioned you guys practice a lot, and you guys have had the days where you go and play a game and practice the next day.
No,
that's like common under the previous regime. I guess how does those practicing that often and even after games, how does that establish your change culture?
I had a coach overseas who his name was Yuri Zadots. He was big on practice gives you game legs, gives you shooting legs. And we've been shooting the shit out the ball lately, so thankful to practice. Guys, have a great day.
Ooh, I can't wait to take this hair down.
I guess when you saw the fast start that the starters got off to, how does that then energize the rest of the bench as you guys start?
You've seen that, they set the tone and guys came in and followed. That's what, we have to do, moving forward. And it gives us a chance to really put our imprint on the game the way we did. We came out on both ends of the floor and we did really well, got out, created transition points. And the way the ball moved tonight was, really excellent.
Third game back for Kelly from his injury. Just how does he look in your eyes?
He's looking good. Like you said, it's still building up, man. It gives, Nick another niche to, play around with. So, he looks really good. And I'm glad that we got him back. It was, he did it really well with his recovery. You know, he took it very seriously, and you know, his training staff and everyone, you know, was on it. So you know, it feels good to have him back, and you know, he looks really good.
You got some time tonight, but the last couple of games you hadn't played, and opportunities that probably would have fit him well. I guess, is it hard for you to sort of not get those opportunities?
I just went through a whole year that no, not at all. We're a deep team, so no, it does not.
Conversations you have to have with Nick, or no?
Nah, I mean, it's just the way that he's still figuring out lineup. So you know, whatever happens, you know, go in. You just stay ready. That's prime example.
How do you keep yourself ready when your role might change night to night?
Listen, you gotta be prepared. You gotta be a pro. You know, and every time you step on the court, your name's called. You gotta be prepared. That's it. At the end of the day, I went through the stuff when I went through in LA. You know, everybody, you know, asks the same questions. How do I stay ready? It's a mental thing.
You've known Pat for a really long time, but this iteration of Pat Bev, what does he bring to this team, maybe internally, that we don't see?
A grit, a grind, that underdog mentality, that get it out the mud. You know, like I said, I've known Pat since we were teenagers, and you know, I've seen his journey. You know, being kids from Chicago, like I've been a part of like a lot of things, and you know, he's going through his transition of things. So everybody's journey is different, but you know, the fact that he's been consistent with, you know, staying persistent throughout his journey, you know, putting the time in, putting the work in, you know, that's what, you know, when we was teammates before my rookie year, you know, I seen it then, and Pat has just evolved throughout that time. So, you know, he's still as crazy as he was back then, but he brings that mentality, that leadership that, you know, this team needs.
What have you observed about his relationship with Tyrese?
Oh, he wants Tyrese to be the greatest he can be, and he gonna push him as much as he can. You know, that's what he's a great veteran, and you know, having Pat Beverley on his team, like I said, his leadership alone, it speaks volume because you hear it, and he's not quiet about it. Like you know what you're gonna get from Pat day in, day out.
Is there like a line that you have to kind of manage when you're pushing young guys, and like, you know, if you push too far, you can, you know, get under their skin or lose them, or? Nah,
you understand. This is a man's league. You know, people that are veterans, you know, we have to push them, like you said, because you know, there's no baby in this league. You know, one thing about it is just gotta, you know, take your veterans, because I've had veterans that yelled at me, that, you know, talk to me differently. You know, I've had veterans that, you know, talk to me quietly. Like, it's just a matter of, like, different perspectives. Like, whatever case, you know, how the message is based off the person that is, you're not going to get the same approach from everybody. You know, somebody has to, you know, it's trying to see who can light a fire under you. And that's what it's all about.
This game tonight obviously unfolded a lot differently than the game in D.C. last week when it went down to the wire. You guys needed 50 points from Joe. Just did the way that game went inform anything about tonight, or is it just that they're two different games and you can't really compare the two of them?
Well, our approach was different. Our feel for the game, we came out, we set the tone, and not allowed them to, you know, set the tone like they did last game. And like I said, we enforced our will, you know, throughout the game, and we never let up. And that's what we was able to, you know, push through and, you know, separate ourselves the way we did.
You talked about your relationship with Pat, and then you also have, you know, you came over with Nico and Marcus, and there's so much familiarity, it feels like, amongst that group of guys with this team. How much does that help that transition become pretty seamless, it seems like?
I mean, it's great. Like I said, us guys coming over together, and then for me, being basically growing up here, you know, as an NBA player, I'm very familiar with the city, so my transition here wasn't as bad. You know, Marcus being from here, you know, helps as well. He has a lot of family here, a lot of friends, and like I said, I have a lot of people here as well. So, you know, just having that connection in itself, it's a great aspect to have, because like it's not like you coming in unfamiliar territory. You know, the transition of, you know, us coming and being in the familiar territory helps the guys that came with us, and like I said, we point them kind of in the right direction.
Looks like on defense, you're communicating a lot and always stunting like at the top and near the nail and helping all the time. Like, how seriously do you take that role as kind of like just being a defensive leader for this team, just the energy and like ability you can bring on that end?
That's my job. That's how I set the tone. You know, I'm the guy that, you know, brings that energy, brings effort, and you know, if I don't do it, who else will? Like I said, it's a mentality of like that's what makes my presence felt on the floor. that's what my job is, and that's what I do best.
Did you see the stat for you like lead the league in deflections per 100 or stuff like
It's
that?
not the first time. It's not the first time. It won't be the last.
Thanks, Robert.
No problem.
How satisfying is it when you get the start you guys had, but not only that, but just maintaining it throughout the whole game?
Yeah, it's good. I think the game the other night against them probably had us, a little focused in the practice and the shoot around, and certainly at the start. And you're right. The second part of your question is, usually in an NBA game you're gonna see this swing back the other way for a while, but our guys just kept kind of playing with good assertiveness at both ends, almost for the whole game. So it was good.
You mentioned after the last game in Washington that you liked the looks that you got from three to start the game. They just didn't fall. Was it similar today, obviously, and they just did fall, or did you see something else that you were able to kind of unlock? Or
Well, I thought we played fast tonight. I thought off the stops. I mean, obviously we got a bunch of stops early, so we were out in off the defensive rebound, but we were getting up the floor quick. And I think that we were, I think the first three of them came in transition, 3 out of 4. So that's good. I think I talked about before the game about getting the ball up the floor, trying to get to the paint, and then getting it out. So it was good to see. Yep.
A couple of weeks ago, we talked about kind of how low the 3-point attempt numbers were. It seems like lately you're
Way too high tonight. We got to cut back on those a little bit.
So I guess it certainly seems like there's been a concerted effort to up the volume there.
Yeah, again, I think that most of the times when we've talked about it, like two things. One, yeah, it's low. I think we were down there 29th at one point. We were climbing fast up that ladder. But I think that, again, you got to kind of take what's there. And you got to take, like I said, I would have been more concerned about it if our offensive PPP numbers, they're like in the top 3 usually, right? So that's a good sign. Your overall number's really high, your efficiency's really high, and our rim attack rate and our free throw rate are really high. So I think it just comes and goes with how to see the game, and what the game presents. Tonight it presented more. They were trying to pack the paint, and you gotta do what's available.
3 games back with Kelly, just what are you seeing from him, and as far as the progression in his return and things like that?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I thought of the 3, this one was probably third maybe, but just again, I think that he really provides some energy up the floor. He's one of our top cutters. You notice that he gets that backdoor cut or double team cut, once or twice a game, and those are big, when they're loading up on the ball and you get a dunk at the basket. So good. And I thought he did a lot of things. I thought he maybe forced a couple shots early in the first half, a little quick, but other than that, again, what he brings just in overall athleticism, speed, and cutting is good. And I think looks like he's in shape and in rhythm and okay. Yeah.
Nick, when we talked about the in-season tournament yesterday, you kind of downplayed the idea of garbage time, that, guys come in late in games and they can get important reps. Is that an example of why? Like, a bunch of guys, Mo, Jaden, Daniel, all had pretty good ending games there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think those guys are, staying ready, right? That's one thing we always talk about, and they've, the way things stack up, we've got a pretty deep team, and I'd like to get all those guys more minutes, but just you just can't do it, right? You just can't. So I give them a lot of credit because there is a battle going on for some of those positions, and that's their opportunity, and I think most of them went out there and played very, very well. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, everybody. Thanks a lot.